Hello and welcome back to the Cheltenham Exchange for day 2 of our Twitter tips video. If you haven't seen these before, every day in March, every day in February, we're running a poll on our Twitter account or our X account, and we're getting your opinions on who's going to win a particular race. There are 28 races in February, 28 days in February, and 28 races at the festival. So that's how the numbers all match up. For a start, we have got a code with racing pins. It's Cheltex20, and I believe it gets you 20% off a spend of €15 or more. Is that right, Ian?
That's correct.
It's not a paid promotion. It's just something they've done very nice for us and our viewers. So if you want to get some pins ready for the festival, whether it's Cheltenham, Aintree, or Punchestown, like Ian has there.
These come fresh today, the Ballyburn cufflinks. So
are you planning to wear two at the same time, Ian?
What was that?
Oh, the cufflinks. Oh, sorry, I thought you were kidding. Oh, they've got cufflinks as well.
Yeah, cufflinks. I do cufflinks now.
Very nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you fancy taking advantage of that, Cheltex20 on their page, you get 20% off. Another thing just to note as well, if you've not seen the day 1 video of the Twitter tips, please go back and have a look and see what you think. If you want to get involved as well for days 3 and days 4, get involved on our Twitter page or X page. It's at Cheltec or Cheltenham Exchange or something. I don't know, Ian will know. Ian's the important one. So just get involved, put your comments in, and maybe you get featured next week. One last thing to plug is we'll be resetting up. Well, say resetting up. Ian will be recording some more brain power videos. So those people who are anoraks and like the quizzes, they'll be starting again very soon. We've got some special guests being recorded this weekend, I believe, Ian.
Yep, a couple on Sunday, and then I've got one more to do, and then I'll be starting the semi-finals and then organising the final before the festival.
Excellent. Right, without further ado, then we will go to the first race on day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival, which to me is still the Ballymore, but it's the Turner's Novice Hurdle. When I was looking for the previous winners to take the screenshot I normally take on Sporting Life, it has the winner last year is Grey Dawning, which is clearly not right. So I thought it was a bit weird, so I had to take the screenshot from elsewhere. So that's why the image looks a bit different. So you can see from there that the horse that won the poll is Final Demand. No surprise really, because he is a 7-4 favourite. Did take the screenshot for the current odds. That was as of about an hour or two ago. So prices are correct as of Friday at 5 p.m. ish. Those are anti-post prices as well. So not non-runner, no bet. So the horses that have less chance of running here, like Kopeck, obviously the price will be reflected in that. So as I say, Final Demand won the poll, 45.2% of the vote. John Seed, however, thinks that New Line could outspeed him. But he does also think that Cowabunga could be a massive danger if he runs. He's got a feeling that JP will demand, pun intended, he runs in the Supreme to keep Cowa and the New Lion apart. Where do we go? Let's go straight to you, Ian. What are your thoughts on this race?
To be honest, Alex, I'm still none the wiser. As we said in the previous video, I had in my mind the Willie Mullins bingo that Quebec de Boards would come here and Salvatore Mundi would be the Supreme. But obviously, since the Dublin Racing Festival, how impressive Final Demand and Kopeck were, I think it's all changed again. So I think originally Final Demand was going to be their Bartlett horse. But listening to Willie Mullins straight after the Dublin Racing Festival, it sounds like they don't want to push him straight to 3 miles, which sometimes can affect the horses going into the future. So it looks like he's going to come here. Otherwise, Cowabunga was quite impressive. Again, that ties in the form with Quebec de Board. Cowabunga come out and has won since. And the New Line wasn't visually impressive, but I was having a quick look at his form. Back from Bill Joyce, I think ran at Cheltenham again and was 3rd. Wendingo won today, I believe, who was 2nd in that race, but he won a bit of a
yesterday, wasn't it?
Spoon, and he's going to be going up to the Bartlett.
So like it was yesterday.
Yeah, that form was not, as I say, as visually impressive as he was at Newbury. I think it was that the back form is still not that great, but the 6 Mile Bridge could be a good one. So he won at Cheltenham. on trials day, I think it was 12 to 1. Beat Potter's Charm, who was the well fancied horse for this race, and look at his price now, 14 to 1. But yeah, I'm sitting on the fence in a minute, Alex. I'm still not quite the wiser. I wonder back the Final Demand, but I wonder if that's just too straightforward.
No, you know what it's like this time of year, isn't it? You never really know what they're going to go for. Obviously, Ballyburn at this point, everyone was saying it was going to go Ballymore, and then that. Sorry, they said it was going to go
Supreme, yeah.
Supreme, then change. Like you never really know what's going to happen. And also, I guess you've got to wait to see what gets injured. Like if Salvatore Mundi doesn't make the festival, then there's no chance that Kopeck will step up. Whereas if Final Demand gets injured, maybe he'll want to separate them. Like there's a lot that has to sort of come out, isn't there? So there's plenty more water under the bridge. I think that's the expression. Johnny, what are your thoughts? I know you've had a good record in this race of recent times, haven't you?
I have, yeah, but it could be about to come to an end, to be honest, this season. I'm a little bit like both of you, a little bit unsure at the moment of where we are with it. I think I've got all the wrong races as well, a bit like what Ian was saying with Kopeck. I had him hopefully to come here, Final Demand to the Albert Parlour. And also the other one that I mentioned is the Yellow Clay. It looks like he could come here as well, and I want him to go to the Albert Parlour as well. So, like you say, though, there's a hell of a lot to happen over the next month, isn't there, really? So lots of things can change with injuries and stuff, and, owners of certain horses saying where they want their horses to run. We know who we're talking about there, don't we? But, yeah, I mean, at the prices, if I was just going to put one now, it'd probably be that Cowabunga, to be honest, because I just think at the price, I was quite impressed with him last time. So it's a bit of an each way to nothing, and he could win, couldn't he? So, yeah, I think I'd probably stick him in if I had to pick one off the top of my head at the moment. But we'll see what happens and see what's declared a couple of days before.
That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it, if Cowabunga wins this and then Kopeck wins the Supreme, because then that form from that December race when they're against each other could be like ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
Kind of reminds you of I know they didn't both win, but like a few years ago when it was like in October or November time when Fernie Hollow as a novice took on Bob Ollinger, and then that form obviously just worked out really well with those two horses in just like a really random midweek novice hurdle. So
we had that with Ballyburn, didn't we, last year, and Slade Steele, and
although that was in Grade 1, wasn't it? Whereas just interesting, isn't it? Right, any more thoughts on this race, or shall we move on?
Happy to move on, Alex.
Happy to move on, yeah.
Right, we'll move on then. Okay. Oh, one thing I did see on here, sorry, with the trends, I will just mention this, is it says that only 12 of the last 28 favourites won. So not necessarily the best race for favourites, although it depends on the prices. So, I mean, there have been some very short prices recently. Right, we'll move on then to the second race, which is Ian's favourite race, the Brown Pants race, the Brown Pants Advisory Chase. Can see obviously Ballyburn won the vote, 66%. Obviously he's a good winner at the Dublin Racing Festival, although on those sort of stats that they put up, his jumping wasn't particularly the best part of his performance. I've got a feeling that he won't be chasing next year. I don't know. I've just got this funny feeling they'll end up in the stayers this time next year. Probably just me.
Wow.
But yeah, Ballyburn won the vote, Dancing City second, Better Days Ahead third with 8.3%, and a very, very small percentage of people with other. So it does look like it's just those top three that people are really interested at this point. I did actually think that'd be a bit higher with obviously Croke Park in there. Quite a few people fancy him, don't they? So yeah, expected that. Johnny, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, looking at those percentages there, Ian, it'd be a tri-cast for you there, wouldn't it?
It'd be a good tri-cast.
The old tri-cast. But, I mean, I made a comment on this, and I'm like, I am biased again on this one because I'm sat with a 33-1 ticket on Ballyburn, which I did straight after his win in the Ballymore last year. So I'm like quite happy to see him top of that percentage there. But I mean, his jumping hasn't been the best, but I just think he's the class horse in the race. Just think he's probably got the best engine. He's quicker than the others, and if he's somewhere near abouts, jumping the last, I think he's the one that can power up the hill and put them all to the sword. Of the others, yeah, Dancing City's quite steady. I think it's like probably a safe bet. Whether he's got the speed to beat Ballyburn, I doubt very much. The rest of them are all a bit much and much, to be honest. I think, aren't they? Like Croke Park, Stella Story. One of them's going to have to really improve a lot to beat the top two in the market. Maybe better days ahead as well. But yeah, I just think Ballyburn wins, and I think you can get 2-1 on him still, which isn't a bad price, is it really?
If there was a bit of cut in the ground, I'd probably have a look at Stella Story as well. And then just looking at the comments, Brian Clark has said it depends on the ground, soft or heavy. He'd back Jinko Blue, who's a Henderson horse, and he's winning tomorrow. Ian, this is the perfect tee up for you. Jinko Blue, is he going to win? Both tomorrow and at the festival.
No, I don't think so. I too, like Johnny, I like Ballyburn as well, and I know the race we see him at the Dublin Racing Festival was over 2.5, but you could see he stayed on and powered on. He had that just that bit more speed for who was it? Croke Park, who I do like anyway, and especially he won over 3 miles against Better Days Ahead. I know Better Days Ahead has come out and won since. I do like Stella Story, but I think his jumping was a bit. I know he stayed on well last time out against Better Days Ahead, but I think his jumping was a bit sketchy. You probably can't do that in this sort of race, and there is even talk of him maybe switching back to hurdles. I don't know if that's a possibility. And it looks like Django Bay, who's in the betting now. I can see Alex. It sounds like he's going to go down in trip to the Arkle since Gino's come out. So I think this was going to be his original target. But no, not much else to add, Alex Sadie. So I think Ballyburn will win. I think he won't have no problems making the hill as he's done already last season, and 3 miles shouldn't be an issue.
If this race was not this race, but if the National Hunt Chase wasn't a handicap anymore, which of these do you reckon would have been in that race instead?
Stella Story.
Stella Story.
Just him? Any others?
I think Dancing City could.
Because one of the rationale for getting rid of it as a grade 2 was to improve the quality of the other races. Has it really done that for this year? Or I don't see that it's done that.
I mean, we'll see it. Yeah, we'll see how many turn up on the day, won't we? Really, I think.
Yeah. Sorry,
I'm not sure.
I thought it was quite interesting what I mentioned.
Yeah,
I think you've probably got about 2 or 3 more in this race that potentially could win it. But yeah, the National Hunt, as we'll see, or as we saw in the last video, it looks the same to me, to be honest. I know it's a handicap and professional riders can run in it, but I don't think it's changed that much.
Yeah,
not horse wise.
Yeah,
an entrance.
Right,
it would have been interesting to know which Patrick would have picked, wouldn't it? Out of them.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
because they've got the likes of like that Kay de Bourbon and a couple of others, and they Champ Kylie maybe something like that. Perhaps.
I think everybody would be hoping Danny would be on Dancing City again. I think, and not Patrick.
Saying that, I don't mind him over fences, Patrick. It's just over hurdles. I just think he just seems to give horses absolute shockers. Yeah. Right, we'll move on then to the third race then of day 2, which is the Coral Cup. And be aware, the Skelton trained horse is with a very high percentage of the vote there, considering it's a handicap as well, 43.8%. I know that Skelton came out and said that if he does settle, then he will be probably the best handicapped horse that he'll be sending to the festival. Although I do wonder if that's the case, would he actually have told us that? I don't know. I think he likes to keep his cards close to his chest, doesn't he, Mr. Skelton? Although the Greatwood is generally a sort of a good marker for this. Other comments on here. Ashley Dundas says he likes Maxim. Obviously, was it last week or the weekend before he won in Ireland?
Last week, I think.
Last week, yeah. And then Kieran Clavin likes Best Years Yet, who's another Martin Brazel horse. He says him having a horse in this race with 2 seconds previously with Fast or Slow and an Epic Song. They've got James's Gate, but he's obviously going to the Turners now. So this boy at 33s could be an option, and one from left field. It definitely is from left field. So it's worth a look, though. I haven't looked too much through his form, but I will have a look, Kieran. So thank you for the comment. Johnny, you've also liked this horse, haven't you? This race recently. I think other than the year that Commander of Fleet won when you were fuming.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But I wasn't when Heaven Helpers won. That was this race, wasn't it? Heaven Helpers. Funnily enough, I've actually backed Best Years yet at a huge price last month. By the looks of it, I'm looking at my spreadsheet now at 62.5 to 1. So
Wow.
I've had a few quid each way on it. And do you know what? I'm not even sure where I've got that from. I've probably got it from the Fat Jockey lads who were pretty good on these sort of races. So the other one that I've had an interest in is Be Aware, which is now favourite as well, which I've had a little go on as well, because I quite like that one. Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? That we're gonna have to see who goes and which ones are in there on the day. A lot of the old favourites tend to turn up for these sort of races. I think, was it Matty's keen on a Impose Trois and horses like that. So I think we really need the weights, don't we, and see where we're the entries and the weights to see where we're at. I think, but Bo Zenith's another one that I've got in my head as well. Not backed it yet, but it could go to a couple of races. That's 22 to 1 currently for this. That's anti-post. But yeah, it's normally a really competitive race. But like you say, you've got to keep an eye out for the likes of Skelton in this, haven't you? And there's normally some British lurkers in this race.
The one I've been looking at is I don't know if this is his target, so I'd be looking at maybe a non-runner no bet price, but it's Sir Gerhard. He's down £11 since the start of the season, so down from 155 to 144. He obviously won the Ballymore on this track and on this day. He won the Champion Bumper on this track and on this day. Yeah. And I think the 2.5 miles is exactly what he wants. I mean, he finished last year finishing third in that Grade 2 at Sandown. I think it was Impere Pass and Langadanu ahead of him. So, I mean, that's not terrible form either. So, I think off 144, if that's what they've been trying to do, like try and fiddle, get his handicap mark down, I think that could be one that I'm interested in.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts, Ian?
Not a lot in a minute, to be honest. I was just looking at this, the Mullins one, that Kitzbühel, I think is how you pronounce it. Probably not.
Yeah.
It runs the weekend, so it's the 15th. Is that Saturday or Sunday?
Tomorrow. Same race Sir Gerhard runs in at the weekend.
Yeah, it's running in the Red Mills. So it'd be quite interesting to see how he runs, if he potentially with this race in mind.
So he's 4 to 11, so you're assuming he's going to go and win.
Going to win, yeah. But a lot of these in the betting, I'm still not sure. I think Woodo. I think we'll probably go Martin Pipe. Jericho is going Pertemps, I believe, now after he qualified last weekend. You were saying about Skelton as well. I know this might be a total long shot, but do you remember a horse called Valgrand?
One earlier in the year.
I wonder if it's potentially something that he could be lining Valgrand up for this. I know that all the focus is on Be Aware, and as you said, it might be too obvious for Skelton to say Be Aware, and I wonder if you said like you could have something lurking. I wonder if that. Say he did win at Cheltenham.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of got that form. I know he's tailed off a bit since, but no, he could be one to have in mind. But yeah, I think Be Aware looks the obvious one you said about the Greatwood. But I haven't backed anything yet, Alex. If I'm honest, I haven't found anything that really catches my eye at the minute.
Well, Ian, have a little go on Sir Gerhard for me as well, because that's who I'm fancying.
I notice comfort zones are in the betting there. One of mine, Matty's old favourite. I love that horse. So not really seen it about much in recent times.
I think Flat's been running, isn't it? I think recently.
Yeah, it's the mark is really low. I was just having a look then. I think it's 133. Is it?
Who's he trained by now? Is he gone to Ben Haslam yet?
No, he's still with Joseph.
Oh, is he? That's normally where it's basically a graveyard of JP McManus horses that've got no chance anymore, isn't it?
And he had a run in December at Leopardstown, finished third in a big handicap. Only got put up £2, so he's on like quite a low mark, really. So yeah, that might be one that I have a look at on the day if he's there with extra places and the like.
Do you think your secret squirrel could go here, Johnny?
Oh, my old favourite. That was such a shame that he fell last week because he cost us the exactor, Alex, didn't it? Falling last week.
Will they put him up for that as well? Because he obviously completed a certain percentage of the race.
Yeah, I think they will.
Oh,
I haven't checked actually, but yeah, I mean, he's one that I mentioned on our early videos, wasn't it, this season?
Yeah.
Handicap, and he's had a decent season, really. It's a shame that he didn't finish that race, but he's one again that I'd keep in mind if he comes to this race.
Looks like they've put him up £2, Johnny.
Oh, that's not the end of the world.
Would
He's still going reasonably well.
It'll be 128.
Who will?
Zika Squirrel.
He was off 131 at Newbury, and he's been put up 2. So that looks like 133 to me.
And the races is 126. I might be wrong.
I don't know. Official rating on Racing Post says 133.
Oh, okay. Beg your pardon.
Okay.
Bloody out the
I'm
races.
trying to log into me Racing Post. You have to log in now, don't you, to get more information?
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Pain in the arse, size. Racing Post sorted out.
Do you have to log in every time as well? That's what it's making me do.
Yeah. Every time.
Right. We'll move on then, shall we, to the next race on day 2, which is the cross-country chase. Now, I will say, of all the changes they've made recently, some have been good, some have been not so good. This going back to a handicap is brilliant. So much better. I'm so much happier because this is what it should be. It shouldn't be basically a race for horses that aren't quite good enough for a Gold Cup. Give everybody a chance like it used to be. You want winners like Balthazar King and Big Shoe and all those sort of good horses that were not quite, at grade 2 standard, not like Delta Work, who probably could place in a Gold Cup. Well, proper handicap horses in this race, which is what you got now. So I'm happy. Sorry, enough about that. So you can see from the vote that there's been a huge percentage there for Stumptown, 48.1%. He is obviously looking like a very obvious one in there. Less for Galvin. Then Delta Work had second most votes, despite being 8-1. Although it looks like he's being back because he's 14s into 8. So yeah, interesting there. Simply Horse Tips has said that he's surprised that Stumptown is still odds against. Should be up to winning based on the cheeky one last seen. Although Mr. Coffee looks a decent each way option. Ian loves Mr. Coffee. Big fan of Mr. Coffee. And then Daniel here says that Buston's got a nice weight, and Joseph O'Brien confirms that blinkers go back on for this race. He did run in both of the winter cross-country races. He was 6th in both of them. I seem to remember in both of them he started at the back, and the majority of his wins have been from being ridden prominently or at least leading. So, don't know. Maybe they are having a little fiddle, or maybe just isn't the horse he used to be. Ian, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I've narrowed it down to 2. So the obvious one has been Stumptown. Since he's is he win or wins at Cheltenham? I think it's wins. But I think he's been hit with. I know he got the mark when the Grand National weights come out. So I'm not sure if he's. I know he'll be not far off top weights anyway in this. So don't know if that'd be a hindrance or not. He'll probably still be the classy one for me. Vanillier actually was the last one I saw that was very interesting with his win at Punchestown a couple of weeks ago. Might have been last week. I didn't come off the bridle and was very, very good. So he's still 8-1. I think you can get 9-1 in places if you're lucky. They're the 2 I'm looking at the minute. Yeah, not much else to add, Alex. I know Vanillier was 9th at Cheltenham. He was well beaten in December because he's come out and done as well, very well in style at Punchestown. But yeah, they're the 2 I'll be potentially looking at.
How about you, Johnny?
Yeah, it's not really a race that I've even sort of thought about at the moment. Like obviously Stumptown's been very well backed, hasn't it? And that's the obvious one, like Ian just said then. I was just looking actually at the likes of Galvin, but I know he's a bit more ground dependent maybe than some of the others. He's probably a decent each way price. I mean, he was second in it, wasn't he, to Delta Work 2 years ago. I'm just wondering now what he'd get in weight off. Would he get weight off? Because he was He was rated £7 higher than that day. He's rated 155 now, so he'd get £2 off Delta work now. Maybe would have been enough to swing that day. I don't know. What Stumptown off then? Did you check that, Ian? Did you look at that?
I checked what he.
Looks like he ran off 149. I don't know if he's been put up though.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, he was off 149 for his last win.
So he'd be getting,
and he did win quite well.
Yeah, so he'd be still getting £6 off Galvin now, wouldn't he, if it was off those ratings?
It doesn't look like his mark changed.
I'm not sure. I mean,
but Mr. Coffee's gone up £3, so surely Stumptown's going to go up by at least that when if they reassess him.
Yeah, how could it not been
sort of low to mid 150s?
Yeah,
this is 149. I thought it was higher than that.
Yeah. Why wasn't he reassessed though since that running?
It might be because he's just not been entered in the UK.
Not been entered in the handicap.
Reassessed him, yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested to see what the swing is on Galvin and him, because Galvin's still a decent horse, isn't he? Really, and he's been quite lightly raced the last couple of years. He hasn't had too many runs. Stumptown's had quite a few, hasn't he? Really, quite a few runs last year. About seven or eight runs last year. So I think Galvin still might have a little bit in the tank. So I'd be tempted to back him each way, obviously depending on the ground on the day.
I might be getting confused with the Grand National. We got 11-2 in the weights, but obviously it doesn't say his rating, but it might be me getting confused.
Well, yeah, you should have a...
Would you say, Johnny?
In fact, I was just thinking, if you look at the entries for the Grand National, shouldn't the rating be on there?
Yeah, they should be actually. Yeah, I seem to remember someone saying he'd been put up £8. Didn't someone say he'd been put up £8 Stumptown for the Grand National?
Oh, here we go. Right, yeah, 157 he's off.
Yeah, £8.
And Galvin was given 154. So based on that, Galvin would get £3 off him, which is could be useful on the day.
Well, you'd think that Galvin's a better horse than Stumptown, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? And the price difference is quite big, isn't it? So, yeah. Galvin might be one of these, place archetype things, man. Off that rating.
That's Mr. Coffee, isn't it? He's guaranteed to finish second or third.
Yeah, he'll go in the exactor, Alex.
Right, we'll move on then to the Champion Chase.
Oh,
no surprise here to see that John Bon has won by a significant margin, 71.2% of the vote. A couple of comments on here. Mike Edwards says that Captain Guinness has been totally forgotten due to Henry de Bromhead's form. Held up off a toxic pace, he'll pass most of them. Everyone chasing that pace with those fences and undulation will have to jump perfectly. The captain will be waiting. And then one of our mates, Aaron Brown, he's done the Ian Rayner. The easy way to work out a race is just do the tricast. He's gone John Bon to win, Solness second, Marine Nationale third. But he has also said that John Bon is a criminally underrated horse. Do you agree with that, Johnny?
Yeah, I do. He's won a shitload of grade ones, hasn't he? He's just...
Would you say criminally
on a couple
underrated?
Of occasions. Yeah, I mean, who are the two horses? Is it Constitution Hill beat him, obviously.
Elixir de Nuts has beaten him.
How many other defeats? Who else?
Elixir de Nuts.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
El Fabiolo.
So three defeats, which is a bloody good record, isn't it, to be fair? Yeah. I mean, the record of these odds-on shots in this race, though, is appalling, isn't it? And that's what worries me. I really want him to win because I just want him to have his big day in the sun at this meeting. So, the heart wants him to win. Whether he does is another matter because, like I say, this race just throws up some unusual performances on the day. And, like we chatted about this at the DRF, didn't we, the other week? And we said if Marine Nationale will probably go and win or something like that, which Joe will be happy about, won't he? But
it's that kind of race, isn't it? You get those sort of bigger prices, just something that's just way out of left field, like when Special Tiara, I love that race. When Special Tiara won it, or Put the Kettle On, obviously Captain Guinness as well last year. Like, yeah, you do get some of the bigger prices winning these.
So if something like Master Chewy won, I wouldn't be surprised like on the day because you've just seen it over and over
another
again.
one that would love it if they go off an absolute mental pace, because that's what he wants. That's what he got last time, wasn't it? When he won that race at the weekend, like coming off a really strong pace with it'll be Matata and Solness up.
Solness, yeah.
Up front. There'll be some that probably pull up before halfway because of the pace those two are going to set each other.
And if Ile Francais goes as well, he's another tear arse, isn't he? Who could just burn off and also.
Yeah. Although I imagine he's probably more likely to go Ryanair, isn't he? Ile Francais.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But he's still entered in this, isn't he? So you never know, do you? Again, it might be a ground thing, mightn't it? If it comes up quite like heavy, he might go in this because of the lesser distance. But yeah, it's going to be a fun race, isn't it? I think.
Just going back to Aaron's comment, I wouldn't say John Bon is criminally underrated. I just think he is a very good horse, clearly, but he's not the superstar that everybody wanted him to be. And if he does win a champion chase or 2 champion chases, he's still not at the level of some of the greats that we've had. I think he is very good, but it's just he's not a superstar. Yeah.
Ian fuming.
Ian still thinks he's going to win the Arkle.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ian?
Oh, I really want to say John Bon. I really, really do. But as Johnny said, there's something niggling in my mind. This race never, ever goes to plan since you got the list there, Alex. 2020 Politologue. That year was supposed to be Chacun Poursoir and Altior, both pulled out. Then it was the Hobbs horse in the JP colours that went off odds on favourite. I can't remember.
Definitely destroyed.
It was dreadful. And then you got 2021, same sort of thing. I know Put the Kettle On was impressive. Chacun Poursoir was the favourite. Did that, I think, come second or third in the end. And you got Energumene the first time out. Shishkin jumped a couple of fences. It was odds on. Didn't like the ground and just didn't go a jot. And you look at this year, Captain Guinness. El Fabiano was the odds-on favourite.
Yep.
Jumped a couple of fences and got pulled up. It just seems to bring out the shocks or there's last-minute injuries. It just seems to cause havoc with this race. But yeah, I really want to back John Bon, but it's just something niggling in my mind that something's not going to go right. But and I think this race is, I'm looking at the betting as well. I think this race is going to cut up a lot. Gaelic Warrior sounds like he's going to go up in trip to the Ryanair. Ile Francais has been running over 2.5 and 3 mile. He hasn't run at this distance for about 2 or 3 years. 2023 was last time out. So I wonder if he'll go up. El Fabiolo sounds like he's going up to the Ryanair. Don't leave much else. Solness, John Bon beats in the Tingle Creek by 20 odd lengths, but has done brilliantly since. He's the top Irish chaser in this division at the moment. Yeah, and then you got Founder 50 at 25 to 1. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, something niggling, Alex. I just can't put my finger on it.
That's who my bet would be on, Ian, at this stage. I'd probably have a little go non-runner no bet on Founder 50. You can get 33 to 1 with 365. I don't know if he's going to go here or Ryanair, or even if he's going to appear at all. But I think if he did line up in this, he'd be a lot shorter than 33 to 1. And I mean, he's beaten Solness this year. He's not a bad horse. I mean, he was second in the Arkle to Gaelic Warrior last year, who he's disappointed since, but that's not terrible form. Yeah, that's where my money would be right now. Either that or have a little. I do quite like Master Chewy, although that's more better in my heart than my head. So, yeah. Right, let's move on then to the 6th race of the 2nd day of the festival, the Grand Annual Chase. Can see from there, top voted is Unexpected Party, another scouting horse in a handicap. Obviously won it last year as well. In terms of comments, Gareth Budge says he really fancies Farron Glory. He's the only one he's backed so far. He should have been a grade 1 hurdler with graded chase form running off. I think he's actually his Irish mark 140. So yeah, he probably would be off 146, maybe 145, maybe 144. So he could be one to have a look at as well. Currently 10 to 1 there on Paddy's. I don't know what the prices are elsewhere. Some good trends in this race as well. None of the last 31 winners were top weights, so ignore the top weights, and also 2 of the last 10 favourites won, so ignore favourites. Although people who said they like Unexpected Party, 8 of the last 19 winners had run in the race previously, so that's a good little sign for him that you can run in a race once and then win it the next year as well. So, yeah. Ian, thoughts on this race?
I like an old favourite of Matty Luke's in a minute, Jazzy Matty.
Matty Luke's favourite. He disappointed. Well,
I
did get
enjoy
for the Boodle.
We backed it.
We backed him.
Yeah, for the Boodle. So he's got the course form. He ran here in October, I believe, behind Path de Rue. He's been running at different distances. I'm trying to guess they're trying to get a lower mark as they can. Yeah, he's the eye catcher at the minute, but I think he's been found out in the market. You can see there he was 12-1 down to 9-1. I'm not sure about Madara. It don't seem to have done it as much this season. And Liberty Hunters won at the track this season. I think he was he beaten last weekend? I think he was in the handicap with Joy Hughes, I think.
Newbury, the Game Spirit.
Oh,
he was
Mark
second in the Game Spirit to Chewy.
Ah, that's it. Yeah, no, I can see the angle of Unexpected Party again. I've got some of his runs here. Second, last, second, fifth at Aintree. You can just see they're doing it again. It's a similar sort of thing when they done last year. It was fifth or sixth, last, and he was ninth at Cheltenham at Trials Day on the 27th, and then come out and won at the festival. So you can start carbon copy what they're doing again. So he's another one to keep an eye on. But Jazzy Matty's the one for me at the minute, Alex.
What about for you, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I quite like Jazzy Matty as well for this, but the stat you said about horses previously racing in this before is quite, a bit of a standout one, isn't it? And Unexpected Party, I think, will still go well. I mean, he's only £6 higher than last year. Last year he got, for anyone who likes Liberty Hunter, last year Unexpected Party got £1 off Liberty Hunter. This year he'd get 7, I think. So can Liberty Hunter switch that round? I don't know. I'd probably have the prices maybe if that's what the weights are on the day. I'd probably have them switched around, to be honest with you. I noticed I don't know if he's in the betting actually. Oh yeah, Path de Rue is one of my old favourites. Really, really consistent horse. He finished third in it last year at a big price. I think he's about 18-1. I'd say that he would have a little bit of a chance, to be honest with you, again if he comes down here. I think he was off 142 last year. He's off 144 this year, so he'd be a little bit closer in the weights to Unexpectedly running off the same at the moment if he didn't get any tax. And with it being Cromwell, you know what he's like for a long-term plan. Is this one that he's been eyeing up possibly? Yeah. So that's another one that I'd throw in the mix as well. So yeah, those three are the sort of three in my mind at the moment: Jazzy Matty, Unexpected Party, and Path de Rue.
Okay. I was just looking while you guys were talking. I was looking at the one called the King of PRs, and he had a formulas with Path de Rue, who won at Cheltenham in October. He also had a form line. Again, it's my terrible pronunciation. It was Ampianderg.
I knew you were going to bring that
up. I think it's the red tile, the red pen. Jamie will be able to say who won at the Dublin Racing Festival, and behind, I think the Folks Tiara just said that was quite tied in. So there's some form there with the King of PRs, but I'm not quite sure what his mark could be. So just while you guys were talking, I noticed him, and he could be another one to keep an eye on. But yeah, sorry guys.
No, that's good. Thank you, Ian. Right, we will move on then to the final race of day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival, which is the Champion Bumper. And I think the result of the poll probably says it all, where no one really knows. pretty much the same percentage vote for. Well, I say pretty much. It's very similar in terms of vote share with all the horses. Yeah, Sean Handy, I think, nailed it on here with the second part of his comment where he says, doesn't look a great bumper this year. Anything could win it. But he has been impressed most with Wind Beneath My Wings. Seems this year there seems to have been almost every week a different sort of hype horse coming up on Twitter of, oh, this is the new Mullins horse, runs on Sunday, he's going to win the bumper. And then you get to Sunday and then they finish fifth. Like, seems to have happened every week. So, yeah, it's been an interesting year for the bumper horses. Thoughts, Johnny?
Yeah, it has been very interesting. You can call it that. Yeah, I've really struggled on it, to be honest, this year, Alex. I'm not going to lie. Normally, you're in a pretty good position, aren't we, between us in the bumper? Especially maybe not so much last year, but probably 5 or 6 years before that. I think we all nailed it. The only one that I had an early punt on was that Drop of Threat, but that was absolutely abysmal on its debut. Just didn't get home at all. It pulled like hell and then just fell out the back of the TV. So I think I've done me dough on that one. There's actually one called Coops the Board, isn't there, in this? I wonder if that's a little bit of a sign. I don't know if it's a relation of Kopeck. If it's anything half as good as that, it could be something special. But yeah, the other one that's been mentioned a lot, isn't it? Is this Kazar Fatal? Fate Fatal, is it? That was supposed to be running at the weekend, but again, that's being pulled out for about the third time. So that's looking less likely to be running now, the way it's going. Although horses can have a bumper sort of late in the day on this and turn up on the day. We've seen that before, haven't we? With certain horses coming out really late. But yeah, I mean, Wind Beneath My Wings is probably rightfully up there as one of the leading ones in this, but I really need to go through it with a fine tooth comb to see if there's something we've missed, because at the moment I'm, shaking my head at this one.
What about you, Ian?
I didn't have one until last weekend, and I think the whole world now knows about, and Ruby Walsh know about Copacabana. I thought he was very good. Battled on, and I think he won by 5 lengths, and he really got put under pressure by Patrick, and that impressed me more than Wind Beneath My Wings, who looked visually impressive with his win. I know he had a win in Ireland as well in the bumper. It's visually impressive, but I think Copacabana just battered on well. So it's what Johnny was saying about this Sar Fatal. He was one that I heard that Patrick was talking about. And I know you get these Mullins talking horses, but it sounds like now that it's going to run the week before Cheltenham. So I would say it's highly, highly unlikely he'll come here now. Otherwise, even Jalon Dudera is who's not run since the last bumper. He's high up in the betting. Was he 10-1? So I think that just sums up this bumper. To be honest, nothing really has come out that's outstanding like it has in previous years. But as I say, I think the only one that did was Copacabana last weekend. But the whole world now knows about him, and the price shows it.
The one I quite like one at a price, but it's more for a place. It's that Cocktail Brute or something. I think he was fourth at the DRF, wasn't he? Don't know. I just think there's a horse in there, and I don't think the races so far, although at least his previous 2 races have been run to suit. I mean, his first race he put up an RPI of 123, which is pretty decent, and then not quite been to those levels since. But that'll be the one. I mean, he's 40-1. He's one I'd take out to maybe get a place in the race. But other than that, yeah, I've got no idea in this race now.
There's one I want to run purely for his name, which is Bossman Jack, that won. The one a few weeks back.
Jack in, if that wins.
Yeah, but he's going to. I believe he's running in the week. I think he's got an entry. I can't remember where, but I don't know if he's trying to get another running before the festival. I don't know, unless he's just going to run there and then maybe save him for hurdling next season. But yeah, it'd be nice if just purely for his name if he runs. But
yeah, there might be one running on Wednesday that's been sort of tossed around a little bit, the name, and that's that Raven Dark for Gordon Elliott.
It's one Joe likes.
Yeah, he's got an entry on Wednesday at Punchestown at the moment. Whether he takes it up, I don't know, but that's the sort of one that could scoot in on Wednesday and he ended up favourite on Thursday. It's like that, isn't it, at the moment? You just don't know. So is it worth backing something like that? Non-runner, no bet. I mean, you get your money back if he doesn't show up anyway, or so if he's no good on Wednesday. But yeah, it's might be worth doing just before the race or something like that, or doing the old trick, Alex, on it.
That's our favourite double.
With the win on the day and for the festival.
Yeah, Hills will be doing that, won't they? They generally do. I mean, Matty's keen on Jalon Duderies, isn't he? Not?
Yeah, third last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's not run since.
No, that would put me off a little bit as well, not being on the track. I mean, where's he been? What's he been doing? Looking at
I know why Joe likes Raven Dark. He's by Dr. Dino.
That's it.
His favourite sire.
That's why Joe likes him.
4-year-old. Although, if you look at the stats in here, 21 of 32 winners are aged 5. So, right. Any more comments, lads?
I think that's it for me, Alex.
No.
Okie coke.
That's it for me.
Right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. If you want to get involved in this for next week, let us know your comments on Twitter. Make sure you get involved in the polls, and keep an eye out for Ian's brain power videos that are coming very soon. It's hotting up at the top.
Yes.
Thanks for everyone for joining. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Ian. And we'll see you next time.